All right, we're live. Well, I just wanted to welcome everybody. This is Restore the Republic coming back at you again. We're here today with, I am Andrew Ike, Soil Jurisdiction Sheriff here on Richland County, Ohio. And with me again is Sheriff Adam Bonner on the Soil Jurisdiction of Summit County, Ohio. How's it going, Adam?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. How's the weather up there?
You know, hit or miss. Says it's going to rain. It doesn't rain. Just humidity. That's all.
Yeah, you can always count on the forecast to be perfect, right?
Yeah, like if it says it's going to rain, it probably means tomorrow, not today.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a sheriff in the soil jurisdiction, I've been going around my county talking to a lot of people, a lot of different kinds of folks, and they've been asking me a lot of questions on what this is about. Who am I? What's going on? And they were at once I talked to them and talked about changing their political status back to an American. They really seem confused. They it's like foreign to them. They really don't understand it. So I got to sit there and take a lot of time to explain this stuff to them. And I'm starting to think. I guess the question for you that I have today is, what would be a good way to explain to the people out there in our counties, in our state, and around the country how to change their political status and why we should be changing it?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. Why? Why? Man, there's so many different things that just go through my mind. Well, the why would be because in 1913, men and women who were living on the soil jurisdiction of their national jurisdictions, uh, the lowercase p people, they were unlawfully converted due to the 14th Amendment, um, creating by the federal government, the foreign subcontractor agents who were incorporated at the time. They were not de jure. We were long past that in 1913. But anyhow, they figured out, well, how can we monetize this? How can we come out on top? How can we have a system where we always win? And so basically, they just started diminishing people and turning them into things that they didn't necessarily agree to, at least unbeknownst to them. Uh, but this is where unalienable rights, God-given rights, were basically converted into privileges, and you get that through U.S. citizenship. So there's a lot of contention with that. The historical research on it, and of course, obviously, if you're going to talk with anybody de facto, they don't know. These attorneys don't know. I mean, they know a little bit as far as what they're doing, as far as securities and bonds and all that type of stuff. But they take allegiances to not speak about those type of things. So the point of where I'm going with this is that whenever you step into those Article 1 courts or Article 2, whatever they're operating as at that particular time, they pick and choose and they kind of go back and forth between contract and commercial. All of this stuff is securitized. If you do motions or affidavits, your signature becomes a security, a negotiable instrument, and then they start trading that on the private stock exchange. We don't want that to happen to Americans. We don't want to be unlawfully converted and turned into a legal fiction or a corporate fiction,
Yeah.
depending on whichever type of court you're in, federal or a state court. Um, it's just one of those type of things where you want to have all your rights intact. As Americans, you're not subject to I guess I would say statutory law, but statutes, acts, and codes,
Yeah.
those types of things, those just don't apply. The only thing that would apply would be, like your criminal type SA stuff, your murders, your destroying property. Um, if you're selling things that would be illegal in their jurisdiction, if it caused harm to somebody else where there was loss of life, that might be something. But for the most part, about 96 to 98% of what they do does not apply to Americans.
Yeah, I've been in the courts watching some of the proceedings go on, and I've heard the judges say once in a while that the defendant or whoever the man was would be talking about his rights or the Constitution, and the judge actually said, "We don't use that in here." And
Yeah.
it just woke me up to like, okay, if they're saying that out loud in a courtroom, how is the rest of Americans or even US citizens looking at this going, okay, something's wrong here? How can you not come out to that conclusion?
Well, I knew something was wrong probably about 25, 26 years ago. I just happened to be in a situation, to do with a kid. And, I learned that it was stacked against me from day one. It didn't matter if I had a, amazing attorney. It didn't matter because if you actually read the fine print of their retention contract, it says that they have power of attorney over your straw man. And everywhere you go, you get people who discredit the straw man theory. It's not a theory; it's a real thing,
Yeah.
and I could show you right where it's at. So please reach out if you want to learn something. I'd be happy to show you that it is a real thing.
Yeah.
So there's that.
You was talking about the citizenship a little bit ago, and every time I hear that, every time I hear citizenship, I can't get it out of my head that anything that ends with ship is an actual ship on the sea. That is that sea jurisdiction admiralty law that they don't receive their right. They're not on the land and soil as Americans. So yeah, people need
No,
to pick up on that.
it sounds like what we call inland piracy. So that's kind of what it is. And, I've heard all of their little snooty jokes over the years. Oh, the floodgates are opening. You think people don't read? You think I didn't comprehend what that meant? I mean, I was kind of chuckling to myself because that triggered me to go in and say, well, you have the living man today. I'm not waiving any rights. And, for the record, um, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and have to fire counsel now because it seems to me that we're talking about, a lot of different jurisdictional things between legal fictions and living, you know, people. There's a
Yeah.
difference. They're talking to a dead entity, you know, and a lot of people don't realize that when they go into these courts that they're actually considered dead. And that, again, it raises the question, do I need to have like psychological evaluations to all these people sitting on benches in robes? Do I need to have psychological evaluations for assistant prosecutors or just all of those types of people? Because apparently they only speak to the dead. It's quite concerning to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a one hell of a show they put on inside them courtrooms.
Right.
So back to the political stat, those are great reasons, but we have to get out that the US citizens need to start opening their eyes. Sometimes I think the stuff just isn't interesting to them, but I mean it's not a game, that there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world right now, in this country right now, that is just bonkers. It's off the wall, and people are sitting around getting, I mean, people are losing property. People are losing, well, that property involves their cars, their kids, all kinds of stuff, and everybody just they're taking it. They just have to take it. That those that what would you call it? The thing, their jurisdiction is just giving them the shaft, and it's time for them to wake up. It's time for the people to wake up. Now I
Well,
know before these
mhm.
political statuses, if you remember back when you would fill out any kind of forms in post office or jobs or anything, they would ask you would have different kind of statuses on there other than U.S. citizen. I haven't seen, here recently there haven't been that many. There's only a couple of different statuses now, and I think they're trying to hide it for some reason. Do you have
Yeah.
any? You remember that?
Yeah. I remember that back as far as like 1990 up to maybe maybe 98, somewhere in there. It gave you different options, like American citizen or American national. Now anything like that, it doesn't exist on those forms, so they basically force you to accept one of those titles, so a lot of people will see U.S. citizen, or there isn't anything that says county citizen or state citizen, which is ultimately what you are, unbeknownst to you, because they don't teach that and they haven't taught it in a long time. So you just got to read, you got to self govern, you got to study history, real American history, not the breadcrumbs you get in public education. And that's ultimately what this is all about. They're withholding the truth from the people to keep you indoctrinated to believe that you're something that you probably don't recall ever agreeing to. Did you
Yeah.
ever recall anybody ever asking you to consent to being this U.S. citizen or to consent to pay taxation from your income
No,
and your
and I don't
wages?
think our parents fully understood it either. They probably didn't get full disclosure, number one,
Nope.
but here we are. Well, not anymore. We've taken ourselves out of that citizenship, came back onto the land, and we're Americans again.
Right. Yeah.
We're running the
Everybody
show.
has a right. This is something that I want to harp on here in my county. People do have the right to status correct. If that's what they want to do, that's their prerogative, and I support them. If any Leo or any commercial sheriff or their deputy or highway state patrol, whoever it might be, court, you have no authority whatsoever to tell any man or woman how they should identify just so you can profit off of them with a
Yeah.
Ponzi scheme, racketeering, or RICO activity, period. So that's why we're here. And when we're here, our American civil peace flag is flying to let you know that Americans are back and that there are reeves and sheriffs, unincorporated, on the national soil jurisdiction. That's what we're here to do. We have a job to do just like they do. So we need to meet in the middle. That's some common ground everybody can grasp. I know they're not going to grasp things that they didn't learn in their academies or colleges or school of legal administrative processes or whatever they call it. But, our Americans are not going to be trespassed upon or subject to things that are foreign to them. Because with respect to their jurisdiction, we're foreign to theirs just like they're foreign to ours. Now, there's certain exceptions where we can try them in our courts, just like there's certain things, like I said, that 2 to 3 or 4%, where pretty much certain types of things, like I said, SA, um, the different types of murder, capital offenses, um, we're going to have to get a list of those things together to get out to like the CSPOA, to the commercial sheriffs on our counties to let them know that a lot of this stuff doesn't apply. That's for federal employees only, and I can
Yeah.
show you right where it says that. And I get that people are being called individuals and taxpayers are by definition federal employees, but last time I checked, the federal government's not paying me, so we can just debunk that right here.
Yeah.
Its only existence is on paper, and there probably wasn't any type of consent to it or full disclosure. So, based off of that fact, I'm going to stick with the people that status correct and defend their rights because they have a right to know the truth and they have a right to stand in their truth. And we're not doing anything, unlawful, illegal in their jurisdiction. We're just simply here to level the playing field.
Yeah.
Checks and balances. They haven't had any of those in over 160 years. Well, it's here now.
Well,
So,
that you're right. It's a good thing. I think a lot of them don't see it coming. Their ship is sinking over there in that jurisdiction, and they're more than welcome to change their political status, become an American again, receive all their rights, and we live in harmonious times.
now there's something else that goes along with when these American civil peace flags are flown over top of their American war flags, which those are fine and dandy, but I'm not at war with anybody. So I'm here to bring about peace, and I'm also here to educate, advocate, and educate these Leos, their chiefs of police, and let it trickle down. We need to get to their labor code training that's scheduled every year. We need to, implement that so that way this type of stuff for our jurisdiction and our people are included into that so they know the difference. There are Americans that have license plates on their car, not placards. That doesn't mean that they're just automatically in their jurisdiction. It means that they're probably kind of scared or intimidated, so they're just going with the flow for now. But eventually, we're doing away with that. Americans are going to have their own placards. Doesn't matter if the DMV or BMV agrees to it. If they don't want to contract with us, we'll take our business elsewhere. That's the right of the people. So, with that, like I said, the civil peace flag is there to let everybody know that there is a reeve on duty
Yeah.
there for the American people. So,
I'm glad you brought that up because it's coming. It's getting close to the time where more people are going to start seeing the flags. And it's not a scary thing. It is an American flag. They just have to realize we have Old Glory, which everyone knows. That is the war flag. That's when we're going to war. It's up. Well, as Americans, we're not at war with anyone or anything right now. That's why we're flying the peace flag,
right.
the American peace flag. And that war flag just kind of pulls us into another whole discussion on how we've been at war for the last 100 and some years. How
250.
presidents just keep re-upping these emergency war powers. It's insane, but I
Hey,
don't know.
shout out to John in North Carolina. How you doing there?
Hey, we got North Carolina in here.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Adam,
yeah, there was something else that I was going to say. I mean, there's so much, with that. That's a loaded question. I mean, we can talk about that probably 5 or 6 episodes and still not be, I mean, there's just so many things that go with it. I mean,
yeah,
we got between the
yeah,
both of us probably 40 years of research and study and the majority of this type of stuff. And it gets really off into the weeds. So, I'm going to be structuring, how I do my live streaming or how I do my channel. I would like to stay on track with basically building foundational, you know, we'll just call them foundational stones of knowledge
yeah,
that people can build, you know, and we got to start somewhere. So, I mean, I think, the right to travel is a great place. Jurisdiction's another great place. The American Civil Peace Flag, it's not for sovereign citizens. That's a fictitious name that was created by the feds,
yeah.
probably because they just want people to be in fear and not get status corrected.
Of course. Well, with the flag, I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm getting ready to. Um, my county here, we're ready to fly it. I've been talking to like the locals and the mayor, and security people down there. And, the mayor actually brought up, she goes, she thinks the veterans would be mad. And I was like, I to you and talked to some other veterans. And I was like, well, why would they be? That it's exactly what you said. It's showing the people we've gotten off that ship and we're back here. We're home. We're
What do you
free.
want? You want my take as a veteran?
Yeah.
Um, it makes me proud. It makes me proud to see that flag because it lets me know that the Americans are back, not the legal fictions. That there is peace. There is some peacekeeping official on the county now, and it makes me feel at ease. It makes me feel more safe and grounded. Knowing the history that I know,
Yeah.
it makes me feel really at ease. So it does not belong to any nefarious group. There are some people that do silly things that are not affiliated with us. What we're doing, um, we're just going to have to weed them out. We have credentials. We have cards that our people use. They have access to those cards. Some of our people do have CDLs, and they know that they're operating as a dual citizen until they retire and get rid of that CDL. But for the most part, we got the right to travel unencumbered, unmolested. We're not engaged in interstate intercourse. And, it's something so elementary and so commonsensical that we shouldn't have to argue. I mean, there's like, what, 12, 13 Supreme Court precedents on it. I
Yeah.
mean, people like to argue, oh, well, that was back in the days when they, buggies and horses and all that. It doesn't matter until it's repealed, until it specifies that specifically. Shut up. It's not your job to
Yeah.
interpret the law, especially, if you're just wanting to profit from somebody, right?
Yeah, that subject we we could deep dive into that, man. Because I'm sure everybody sees the YouTube videos and sees these people talking on the side of the road about, hey, I'm traveling, and you'll get people commenting that these are idiots, they don't know anything, and it's like, come on, there
I
is
think,
there is
honestly,
driving and there is traveling, and driving you have to have, it's a commercial activity. You're making money. That's why they're called taxi drivers, truck
yeah,
drivers, Uber drivers. You're
right.
getting paid your commerce. So, yeah, it's totally different than traveling. We have the freedom and the right to travel wherever the hell we want to
Yeah, they're
without law.
slowly working up to it. The CEO of the foreign corporation is slowly working his way up to doing away with licenses, and you can tell. One of the telltale signs is that there's an executive order, I believe, that goes in effect January 1st. If you had a license, you went through the training, obviously, at one point or another, passed a test to show your competency. If it was revoked or suspended for whatever reason, now they're not supposed to have their car towed. They're not supposed to be treated like criminals and arrested. They're just supposed to get a citation and be on their way. Now, I'll believe it when I see it, but I'll tell you what I would do as an American if you ever reeve on your county. Just go ahead and take the ticket. Don't argue with those guys. A lot of them are hotheads. No offense. I get it. Nobody wants to be outside when it's 100 degrees wearing a vest. I get it. You know, I did that. You've done it. You know, I mean, could you imagine SRT in this
Yeah,
100 degrees? So, but yeah, I mean, just go ahead and take the ticket and go to your county reeves office. If you got a liaison, and you don't have a reeve in your immediate area, just start your chain of communication. Get with your
yeah,
liaison, your
yeah.
PKTF
Well, you know
liaison.
what? We definitely this position with this channel is to get out the word that we are here. The sheriffs, they're coming back, trying to get every county in this beautiful country. But that's what the people have been waiting on. They've been waiting on us to solve these problems. Because we're the guys on the front lines. And in my county, I don't want any of my people, the Americans on my county, to have to worry about any of this stuff. I'm going to take care of it for them. And we're going to proceed from there.
Right. Yeah, I've got a couple situations up here. I got one that's alleged to be criminal in nature with an American. I got another one that's civil. And I haven't even had a chance. I've been so busy the past week with calls and meetings, I haven't been able to reach out. And I'm not sure if I'll even be able to get through because now I'm getting deputies and secretaries, and just seems like I'm getting the runaround. So I might have to throw some things in the mailbox and just do it like that. But come January, the kickoff for me, county tour, second county tour, I'll be out there, probably up close and personal with a lot of them, scheduling a lot of meetings, getting around. You're doing a pretty great job down there, so I wanted to tell you, that makes me proud to see that you're doing the right thing for your people on your county.
Yeah,
Also, what is his name? Dewan Perry. Hey, yeah, as far as North Carolina goes, you got a problem with any of those guys down there and they're acting silly, give them our videos or, our contact information. We would love to talk to them or get a liaison on it. They shouldn't be doing any of that stuff, arresting people for the right to travel. So there's
yeah,
that. show them the video. They want to talk to you.
All right. Well, it's been a good little discussion today, Adam. So, you have social media, right?
Yeah, talking shop with the Reeves 44 on Rumble. I'm on various meetings. Obviously we get invites to all type of stuff, but mainly Rumble here on Restore the Republic is where you'll find me most likely, or on some type of PKTF meeting.
All right. Well, we want to give shout outs, to the pktfnews.org. For all you Leos, for anybody watching this, the replay, anything, check out the pktfnews.org. You'll find out what's going on in our jurisdiction, how we're trying to proceed, how we're trying to get along with you guys. We do have a superior jurisdiction over you. We're just trying to get along. We're trying to do it peacefully.
Right. Also, pretty soon there will be the Peacekeepers and Sheriffs organization coming online to be able to interface with, the commercial sheriffs and all the counties across the country. Uh, the goal is to implement training and education packets for them. As the founder of the PSO, you're the co-founder. We're here just to get the information out and education. We can schedule meetings. There's various resources. The PKTF will be more than happy to come onto the meetings to bridge the gap if that's something, say like the CSPOA or something like that. Maybe they don't feel so great about showing up and talking to us. They can also just go through the PKTF and bridge the gap that way to the PSO. But I would like to see some collaboration going on, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, I've had about enough for today.
Yeah.
But we need everybody to get out there, get your political statuses changed, get back to becoming an American, get back on the land and soil, doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah, go to TASA, or GFG, Global Family Group. You can get status corrected there as well. There's a lot of resources. You got Evangeline over at Status Select, a couple different options. And come on back. We'll welcome you.
Yeah, join your state assemblies, your state unincorporated assemblies. Check them out. Join up.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right, Adam. We will see you later. Make sure, everybody, when you check out Restore the Public, or what was your social media, Adam?
Talking shop with the Reeves 44, Rumble.
Shop with the Reeves 44 on Rumble. When you guys are checking these out, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We need them subscriptions. We'll see you all next time.
Take it easy.